Chapter 1 The Outlaw. Life wasn't kind to folk like me. Couldn't trust no one, except my blade, the wind, and whatever horse hadn't thrown me yet. Maybe a dog, if the beast was too dumb to stick around. The bush is mine, and always will be. And the Kazanai, well, that's the name they gave me, hoping it'd shame me. Instead, I wear it proud. Folk hear it, and their blood runs cold, just the way I like it. Tonight would be a good night. The Reslights were set on taking donations from the town, consent or no. Funny thing that, folk like 'em, on account of all their preaching. Preaching's a loose thing, though. Suits them when they take what they want. Same as me. Only difference is folk cheer for 'em. Fine by me. Makes 'em proud. Makes 'em think they're untouchable. They're gods watching their backs. Easier to kill a man when he thinks he's blessed. Easier to take his things, too. Men like that don't need 'em. He's got his God, doesn't he? The house they holed up in sat on a high hill, watching over the town like vultures waiting on the weak to die. There were guards, of course. They'd make it a bit more fun. They'd taken plenty already. Too much, if anyone had cared to ask him. And it wasn't just coin, either. They took folks. Young ones, mostly. Called it recruiting. But he knew slavers when he saw 'em. Sold those children off to their God's will, or whatever piss-poor excuse they'll tell themselves. And boil up my blood, it does. So what do you will about me? I'd never stoop to taking a child. But them holy men, heard they dragging out a few girls to the Reds, promised 'em prayers instead of coin. He started down the dune, hands finding his axe. Twin blades, sharp and sharp, favorites of his. Light enough to move quick, heavy enough to kill clean. Ain't many known how to fight 'em proper. Swords, shields, spears, none of 'em worth a damn against me. Never have been, never will. The closest guard was on the far side of the dune, meant to be keeping watch. Poor bastard. Truth is, most men don't see the Kazanai of the bush till it's too late. The guards were cooking in their helms and breastplates. Fools. Heat like this in Zoran. They were likely sweating their balls clean off. Ground still burned hot, air thick and dead. Man's helm didn't let him see much, and the Kazanai wagered he was half blind from the sweat stinging his eyes. Wouldn't be a fair fight, not that I cared for fair. Still, killing him wasn't worth the trouble. Body drops, others see, the whole place go to piss. So he crouched low, slipping down the hill, quiet as the wind. Man never even flinched. The Kazanai slipped up behind him, hands light as a thief's should be. He loosened the man's coin purse, untied the knot. Coins slid into his hands like they were meant for him. 6 chips, not bad. Enough for a good drink. The house loomed above the town, 2 stories of stone and timber, smug as any fat lord looking down on his flock. Fancy place for priests, but the Reslights always did love making a show. He reckoned there were men at every door, a few more inside. He'd seen it enough to know. Priests guarded their coin better than their souls. The guard at the front was no fool. Stood solid, eyes sharp. Not some farm hand handed a spear, but a man who knew his trade. Not worth the time. Ain't no sense wasting time on a fight that could cost more than it paid. His eyes lifted to the roof. Light holes shuddered, but not enough to stop him. A man like me doesn't need a door. He stepped back, feeling the sand shift under his boots. Then he ran, quick and quiet, like always, boots hitting stone once, twice, and he was climbing, hands finding cracks where the sun had chewed the stone thin. The climb was nothing. He'd done harder drunk. Nothing I can't handle. He pressed his ear to the wall, listening. Voices drifted, soft, prayers maybe, or sweet words for the girls they'd stolen. Hard to tell with holy men. They prayed with the same breath they sinned. The outlaw's jaw tightened. I'd gut a man for stealing coin, but taking children, that boiled his blood hotter than the sun. With a smooth pull, he hauled himself the rest of the way up, laying flat against the roof. No need to stand and catch a bolt in the gut. He stayed low, eyes scanning, ears sharp. The smell of sweat, men, and the stink of greed and the sour rot of false faith wafted from below. He crawled slow across the roof, belly tight to the stone. Sweat ran down his back, but he paid it no mind. He reached the light holes, their shutters closed tight from the inside. No matter. The outlaw slipped one axe free, the metal gleaming dull in the moonlight. He wedged the blade under the wood, feeling for the rope. A little tug, a soft pull, and the rope broke free. He held the shutter closed with one hand, just enough room to squeeze through. Silent as a shadow, he slipped inside, shutting the gap behind him. The air smelled of sweat, oil, thick and heavy. He hung there for a moment, clinging to the beams like some sort of desert cat. Below, the guard on the second floor stood facing the other way, too busy minding shadows that weren't there to see the real one above. Not much of a guard, is he? Resolute by the look of him, the red pool sigil splashed across his armor, showing the embassy star. The ambitious ones, they called him. Fitting, ambition never did save a man from steel. The outlaw dropped soft as sand, landing beneath him without a sound. A second later, the axe bit deep, right through the neck, spine snapping like dry wood. The poor bastard never even flinched. The outlaw caught the body easy, lowering him to the floor slowly. No sound, no struggle. Just another dead man who put his faith in the gods instead of his own eyes. The outlaw caught the sound of love, or what passed for it, drifting from one of the 3 doors set square along the far wall. The door carried the priest's soft prayers, voices low and trembling like they feared their own gods might be listening. The door straight ahead, the one that held the snores of sleeping men, deep and careless. And the right door, nothing, not a sound. He entered that one. Silent as death, the outlaw creeped forward. He eased the door open slow, his dark skin shallowing what little moonlight slipped through the cracks. No shadow, no set sign that the Kazanai was in. He shut the door behind him with a care most men would have spared for a lover. The room smelled of dust and parchment. Shelves lined the wall, pages crammed tight, the scripts twisting strange and foreign. Words meant little to him. Reading was for men who feared the blade. The outlaw never needed much more than an axe. Still he searched, pulling a book opening drawers. The desk creaked, old and dry, until his hand found the bottom drawer, loose and off. His axe made short work of the false bottom. Inside, scrolls, strange and brittle, and a small pouch heavy with coin. Good enough. He took the lot. Some poor bastard could read him scrolls later. Leaving the door wide, he'd slip back out, the outlaw dragging the resolute corpse heavy in his arms, dumping him quietly in the study. Best keep him out of sight. The next door creaked as he pushed inside, the room of sleeping men. And there it was, the truth, uglier than rumor. The outlaw saw enough in a glance. Grown men sprawled on mats, snoring heavily. A stink of sweat and wine thickened the air. And the children, half-starved, huddled like pups, hands bound in rough rope. The Resolutes always knew how to inspire loyalty. The outlaw silenced the snores one by one. The axe did the work quick, faster than thought, faster than fear. Blade kissed throat, sleep became death, and not a soul woke screaming. When the last man was gone, he turned to the children. The wrists were bound, red and raw. A few stirred, blinking wide eyes at the dark shape crouched over them. He hushed them with a hand and cut the with the same axe that he ended men, but they stayed quiet. I'll be back, he thought, but didn't say. No good in promises made too loud. With one last glance, the outlaw slipped out, leaving the stink of fear and blood behind. Downstairs, the guard on the first floor was no wiser than the rest. Never saw the Kazanai coming. One clean stroke and the res light fell. Neck split near the spine, eyes wide but empty. The outlaw moved fast through the rooms, the kitchen, the grand dining hall, the plush parlor with the rich gathered just to hear themselves talk. Empty, nothing worth their weight. The last door led to the priest's prayers, or what passed for them. He pushed it open, silent as a shadow. The two holy men were busy at their work, rutting like dogs, lost in the sweat of it. They didn't see him. One of the women did, dark eyes wide, but no scream. She knew better. The priest turned too late. Both axes were in his hands. He heard the stories. Gods gave men power, they say. Blood and miracles cursed on their lips and blessing for coin. But no god saved them now. Steel split flesh. The outlaw burned both blades deep, one in each throat. They made no sound but a wet grasp. He stood over the bodies, breathing slow. The woman didn't move. Pale, pretty things, with the look of those who'd seen too much already. They knew him. He saw it in their eyes. Good. That'd make things easier. He turned to leave, paused at the door. The guards are dead, he told them. There's children upstairs, bound. Lead them back to town. Find their kin. The woman nodded. One wept, but quiet. He glanced at the chest in the corner, fat with coin, stained by false prayers and filth. Take that, he said. Buy silence. Buy freedom. It was almost through the door when one of the women found her voice. You're Conan Kirkwood, she said. The Kazanai of the bush? He turned, just enough to show a grin. Aye. And then he was gone, a shadow in the dark, with guards yet to kill and coin yet to spend. This is a preview chapter. All content is eligible for change.